All right, so we'll just go ahead and get started here, waiting for a couple more people to join. But in the meantime, I just want to thank you guys for joining us. My name is Meggin Anderson, and I am a Team Beachbody coach. And it is Thursday, September 22nd, 2016, and I'm going to be your host tonight. I'm so excited to be able to get the opportunity to share this information with you, and just happy that you could be here to join us. I know that everyone's schedule is really busy and everyone has families and a lot going on, so it really means a lot that you're able to take that time out of your busy schedule to join us. So if you're listening tonight, you were either a part of my coach open house sneak peek, or maybe another coach sent you here. Either way, you're following us on social media, and maybe something sparked your interest in what we're doing, and so you wanted to jump on and be here. So I'm really excited for that. I want to make sure that I don't rush through this information and touch upon as much as I can, but I also want to try to keep it as short as I can as well, so that I can, get you guys on with your evening and that sort of thing. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. All right, I'm going to minimize this, and hopefully you've got a nice big full screen there as it's coming up. All right, so let's get started. So tonight we are going to cover who I am, who Team Beachbody is, Team Beachbody as a company, our programs, Shakeology, what a coach is and is not, how to earn, everyone's favorite topic, and of course, how to join, and our mission in helping people achieve goals and enjoying a healthy and fulfilling life. So without further ado, a little bit about me. So I actually just moved from Massachusetts. I lived in Massachusetts my whole life. I grew up there, and we just moved this summer to Lake Winnipesaukee in Meredith, New Hampshire. So that's been a big change for us. I am married. We just had our 17th wedding anniversary on the 18th of September. And we have 3 kids. Aiden is almost 11, and he'll be 11 next month. Riley just turned 8 in August, and Ben turned 5 in July. So they keep me really super busy. I have actually been a Beachbody customer since 1999, if you can believe it. That's the furthest back that I can remember buying a program through Beachbody. And it wasn't only till recently that this actually dawned on me. So you see the picture there with those VHS tapes. They had great abs, great thighs, great stretch. Oh, I thought that was something else. That was buns too. But anyways, their slogan at the time was "Look Good Naked," and I loved that. And so that was like my first DVDs or VHSs that I bought online. And I remember doing those in our bedroom way back in the day. So I have been a Beachbody customer for a really super long time. It's something that's actually been pretty constant in my life. I was never really someone that went to the gym. I kind of always felt a little bit lost at the gym. Really just didn't know, what the equipment was for. And then my classes really weren't offered consistently enough for my schedule when I was working full time. So I struggled with doing that. I did go to the gym, and there were stints that I would do that, but I just would not get, ahead to see any results. I would say that my first major program was probably P90X, like way back in the day. And I did see some results from that. It was my first strength training type program, but I would have to also say that my first major results started with Insanity. And that's just because I finally married the nutrition with the programs. Forever, I always had the mentality that if you just worked out hard enough, you could just eat whatever you wanted. So I really just did that for a lot of years. I just, drank Diet Cokes. I took ephedra. I took all sorts of fat burners, and then we binged on the weekends pretty much. So it was like, I'd lose a bunch of weight during the week, and then I'd gain it all back on the weekends. And So it was this cycle, and it was just kind of like my MO for a long, long time. So my first major results were definitely with Insanity. I kind of was like, oh, I love the program, but I've never actually opened the nutrition guide. Maybe that has some merit there. And hey, what do you know? I dropped 2 pant sizes in the 60 days. So that was my first experience. It's kind of like an aha moment, because you're like, oh my gosh, okay, so I followed the calendar. I follow the nutrition guide, and look what happened, right? So, and kind of the rest is history from there. So, at the time, let's see, probably in the year 2000, my husband and I, we started our own business. Previous to that, I had worked for my dad for a number of years. He was a very successful entrepreneur himself, and he owned a commercial audio and video business. He was actually one of the first businesses to ever pioneer satellite music, background music in restaurants. Before that, it was like a reel-to-reel tape, and that's how come Muzak got its negative connotation, because of the repetitiveness of the music, because it was a reel-to-reel, like way back in the day. Then satellite was kind of the next thing, and it kind of technology advanced, obviously, till now we have like downloads and things like that. But I worked for him for a number of years. I was really not a great student. So I didn't have a lot of options when it came to college. I really didn't want to go to college, but it was something that was expected of me. So I went off to college, and I hated it, did a lot of partying, and ended up coming home to finish school out locally and be a commuter. And so I worked for him during the day while I went to school at night. Kind of grew up in his business. So all the people there that I knew from his company were people that I knew since I was a little girl. And so I started off filing and answering phones and calling people and asking them for money. And then before you knew it, I was finding myself in a customer service and sales position where I would be dealing with the customers, which I absolutely loved. So it was a lot of fun to deal with customers and develop those relationships. Just get that bug of being out there talking to people and stuff. So in 2000, we decided to kind of do our own thing. My dad kind of gave us a little bit of advice and helped us to step away from what we were doing to start our own thing. And we worked our own commercial AV business for about 15 years. And, the thing about it is when people, say, oh, yeah, you're a business owner, they think, you're rolling in it, you're doing really awesome. But, you don't get to hear about taxes and insurance and payroll and rent and overhead and all of the things that go along with owning your own company, your own brick and mortar company. And we were the last to get paid. So it was a lot of years of struggle and, just never being able to get ahead. And then come tax time, we would, owe money, and then, we would be behind the 8 ball again, and from borrowing money and paying back credits and all of these things. So it was just this horrible, like, roller coaster ride for so many years. And then we decided to start a family, which I wasn't also planning on. I really never wanted to have kids. It was kind of something that took the back seat for a long time. We were married for about 5 years before we decided to have children. So Aiden came along, and we had the business, and we were pretty busy. So he went right into daycare at 3 months after my maternity leave. And then, Riley and Ben were soon to follow, and, things just really never got better. We were, good at our individual tasks. I was good with the customers and, that sort of thing. And Mark was doing sales, service and installation. And so, we kind of needed that balance, in between there. And between all of this, my dad had passed away. So that was a big kind of blow to us. Our mentor, our advice person, was no longer with us. And so, we kind of really didn't have a lot of options. Long story short, we ended up making a business partner that really wasn't that wonderful. And kind of in the midst of all this, I was still working out. I was still always working out from home. I have always been disciplined with my workouts. I would get up in the morning really early, do my workouts, get the kids to daycare, whatever needed to happen. This has always been a constant for me. So during all of this time, I'm still working out to Beachbody programs at home in my basement and all that stuff. It was something I've always loved for a really long time. And I would actually fantasize while I was doing Turbo Fire. I would fantasize when I would listen to Shalene talk to us about how her life was like. She would get up in the morning and do her workouts or go teach a class. And like, how do I get from this to that? I love this so much, but nobody nobody, brings home crazy amounts of money being a fitness instructor, right? So it's kind of like in one ear, out the other. That's great that she can do this, but how do you get to that point, right? So, meanwhile, with our business, this was always in the back of my mind that this would be really cool, but who's going to go there? And I never thought I'd be a personal trainer, just because that would be something else I'd have to study for, or something else that I'd have to leave the children. It was just that extra thing that I really wasn't ready to take on at this point. So, in between each kid, I was like well up over 200 pounds. So it was kind of like, this challenge for me to like drop all the weight. I'd get pregnant with the next one, drop all the weight, get pregnant with the next one. I mean, it was this crazy up and down. And then, so when Ben came along, it was like, we're done. This is my permanent journey now. And so, I knew I had his plan in place. Over the years, I had done Jenny Craig and all sorts of stuff. Like I mentioned, fat burners, all these things. And after Ben came along, none of that stuff worked anymore. So I had to kind of get a new plan. And so still doing with Beachbody programs, started with Insanity. And I just, imagine being 210 pounds, trying to do Insanity. I'm thinking, oh, that's just going to melt away. And it didn't. And I struggled. So I kind of took it down a notch, and I had to take a couple steps back. I decided to do Les Mills Pump because there's no jumping. It was just a lot of sweating and the light weights, a lot of repetition and things like that. So that really got me to lose weight quickly and in a safe way. And it got me stronger, like my core, my back, and all of that kind of stuff after having a child, right? So then after that, if you ever have done that program, you know that it kind of segues into combat because of the crossover workouts. So I did, I decided to do Les Mills Combat. I think that's a 60-day program too. And so I've always been like I said, doing Beachbody, I'd be like on the message boards that Beachbody has. They still have them now. And I'd just be chatting with people that were doing the workouts. Like this is before Facebook, right? Like I wasn't on Facebook. I might've had a Facebook, but I wasn't really on there. Like this was before social media. So I think Facebook was around, but I just really had no idea about Facebook or anything like that. It was just all kind of getting new to us, right? So chatting with people on the message boards, asking questions. And then that's how my coach now found me. She actually said, I'm putting together this challenge group. It's going to be the Combat Warriors. She knew that, I was doing this program, and I was like, yeah, that's great. Are you kidding me? Like people are working together inside this group online, and everyone's doing it at home. Like that is the coolest thing. Like all these people are just like me. And it was like this whole nother dimension opened up for me, and just being able to know that there were others out there like me, this like lit this fire inside me. So go through the challenge group, it's all about success stories and what everybody's eating and what everybody's doing for workouts and the Shakeology and all this stuff. And then, introduced to me to the coaching opportunity. And I was like, wait a second, you're telling me that I can make money by having these fun groups and we're all working out at home doing this. And this is all I have to do. And this would be my job and I'd get paid for it. Like I was so in. I had no clue that there was any sort of coaching opportunity. Apparently, it had been around for a long time, but I just never came to that realization. I guess I just never paid attention enough on the DVDs to realize that there was an opportunity there. So, she was definitely sent to me from some other place because it couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, completely stressed out, completely burnt out. The kids, I wanted to be home with them. Daycare was killing us. I mean, it was just a terrible time for us. Not really sure what to do with our lives because I was so ready to quit that place, our company, and just be the mom and hope for the best as far as our income went. And it was just a terrible time. So when I found this out, I mean, I was floored, and I knew almost from the get-go that this was something that I could make work for me. And so I signed up when I knew we were going to be away on vacation because I knew that I'd have some downtime to read. And I remember it so vividly. It was a March 2013, and I signed up just before we left, got all my ducks in a row so I could get all the information as far as reading and training and stuff while I was away, because I knew I would just be able to sit around and read this stuff and soak this up. And I was just hooked. I mean, from like morning till night. I mean, the poor kids on our vacation, I was just so engrossed with this. I just could not believe that this was something that I could do for my for my career, right? And then all I could think of was, how am I going to transition, right? From I'm the president of our business at home that we've had for 15 years. Like, how am I going to do this? And I knew it wouldn't be hardship with like my husband's very supportive. So he's like on board with whatever I think. But it was more or less like, how can I let go of something that we've built all these years? I'm thinking about our customers and things like that. How could I all of a sudden switch gears from a commercial AV company president to a fitness coach? Like, it seems so weird, and almost embarrassing too, because people were going to say to me, what did you do? Fall on your head? Like a screw's loose? You're just going to like dump your business for this thing? And so for a while there, I was a little bit unsure of how to handle it. But like within 30 days, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't be president of a company. I can't even work a full day without thinking about this business, the Beachbody business. So I told my husband, I can't do it. I said, I want to make a plan to come home. We'll stay home with the kids. We'll save some money there with the daycare, and I'll be the stay-at-home mom, and I'm going to work this business at night and mornings whenever I can get the chance to. And that was kind of the end of it. And I think like maybe a year later, I finally on paper, signed off as president and owner. But I say former failed business owner because we really just could not make it go. I mean, we were barely making ends meet, in serious debt. It was just a crazy time. So that's kind of how I got started. And then, so since then, I've just had a lot of great successes. Since Ben was born, I've lost over 85 pounds with Insanity. All the Beachbody programs, I've done a ton of them. I would definitely credit the majority of that to my nutrition and Shakeology. Without the nutrition being the majority of what you're doing, that's where, the secret sauce lies, is in the food for sure. Because then I took my next step in my personal physical challenge to become a bikini competitor last year. I did it amateur. I just did it a couple times, but it was really challenging. So that was something that I did for myself, kind of a bucket list item. And I'll tell you, that is 100% nutrition. Sure, you lift weights and you do a lot of workouts and things like that, but I will tell you that almost 100% is nutrition to get a body like that, because I know that I don't look like that anymore, and I know why. So I'm currently a Star Diamond coach, and I also pursued my certification to teach Insanity. So I was teaching a couple days a week at home, and since we moved, I have had a kind of a hard time getting started. But just this week, I signed a contract to start teaching locally here. So I'm going to be starting in October to teach, and I'm really excited about that, because just bringing, kind of what I know from this aspect out into the public, and to be able to teach people what I know about form and the fun workouts and that kind of thing. It's just kind of bringing it all together, right? So I came from this one aspect, and now I've already realized my goal that I was daydreaming about with Chalene Johnson all those years ago. So it's kind of fun to come full circle with that. Okay, so our mission statement is pretty clear, and that is to end the trend of obesity. So we're on the mission to end the trend. You might see that hashtag and those words like all over the place, in conjunction with Beachbody coaches and their logo. We're a pretty passionate bunch when it comes to that. And then if you know, or if you heard our CEO speak at all, you know that he is the guy running with that notion for sure. I mean, he is just so passionate about helping others. And I think it's just because, we all know somebody who's affected. We've seen the statistics, and these are actually old statistics. There are 126 million people who are considered obese. And it's obviously links to coronary diseases and liver disease and all of these horrible things that are linked, right? And then this affects them all the way from the outside to the inside. So many, times you see the kids at school, they get made fun of, bullying and things like that. So this is, a serious epidemic. And if you've been to anywhere on vacation, traveling, airport, Disney World, anything like that, the malls, you just need to look around, and almost everyone you see is in danger and needs our help. So let's take a step back a little bit and talk about the company and where Beachbody came from. So in 1998, Beachbody was founded by Carl Deichler and John Condon with the core purpose of helping people achieve their goals and enjoy a healthy and fulfilling life. Thus, their motto. So through their infomercials, they were able to give everyone equal access to a variety of in-home DVD fitness programs. And even from the beginning, they both set the company apart from others by taking a risk and creating programs that actually require hard work and commitment, right? Because there's no magic potions or quick fix schemes. And if you've ever tried P90X or Insanity or know someone who has, you know it requires serious commitment and good old-fashioned hard work. And then so through the online Beachbody message boards, customers started to talk about the results, provided support and motivation, and invited others to try the programs. And like I said before, this is how my coach discovered me. So then in 2007, Carl and John saw an opportunity to reward these people on the message boards for sharing their programs and their own results, and then invited them to become the founding coaches of Team Beachbody. And as a result, the Team Beachbody coach was born. We've also had so since the launch of Beachbody, look at all these programs. This is pretty awesome. This actually put into motion the development of some amazing products that help to support the coach network, which is us, right? You see that everything here Beachbody has created over the last few years. And I think you can agree that this represents a true commitment to the company's core purpose in helping to achieve goals and help people enjoy a healthy and fulfilling life. I'd be willing to bet that almost any of you watching tonight has either tried one of these products or knows someone who has. And I think I have done, the only one I haven't done is Tai Chang and Brazil Butt Lift. And I started P90X too, but it was so hard. I could not do it. I mean, you have to be a serious athlete for that one. That's a really hard balance core type program. But everything else I've done, I can say. And we also had a really exciting 2015. I know it's 2016, but these are all kind of came on board just earlier last year. So we had the launch of 21 Day Fix Extreme, and then the new Beachbody On Demand, or BOD as we like to call it, came out with our entire catalog available for live streaming right to your computer or any mobile device. Shanti's new dance workout size launched. And but certainly definitely not least, my super favorite product line now is the Beachbody Performance line. This was actually just not only is it NSF certified, an independent, which is as an independent accredited organization, NSF International tests and certifies products. So when it says it's NSF certified for sport, it's marking on there on your labels assures your Beachbody performance products have been thoroughly tested for quality. So this basically just means that you can be confident that the supplements have been rigorously tested to meet the NSF's strict banned substance standards when taken at the recommended serving size. So Beachbody went through this rigorous certification process to meet the growing demand of athletes, coaches, and those that are just concerned in general about banned substances in professional and amateur sports. And I know that for me, this is huge. I went through this when I competed. We actually had to take a lie detector test to make sure we weren't taking any banned substances. And this is really huge, like for the professional sports, exactly. One of the really cool things is this last year that they became an official sponsor of the Ironman North American series. So now they have tents set up at any of the Ironman competitions. Athletes are allowed to sample and take the products as they are competing. So that is really, really cool, I feel. And then at Christmas time, we launched Cafe Latte, Shakeology, new flavor, and the Master's Hammer and Chisel, which was awesome. And so I actually did a few rounds of the Hammer and Chisel, and I saw some serious definition. I did a round and a half to do my second competition, and I really saw a lot of definition in my legs for that one. So that was really cool. It's a full body, strength and balance and agility and power workout. It's just really awesome. Something different for sure. And then with the new bod too, I wanted to just back up for a second and let you guys know that since we've launched Beachbody on Demand, there's some even more things that they've brought, not just the catalogs that they're adding to that, but something called Fixate has been added to the live stream, and that is our new cooking channel, which is awesome. Autumn and her brother have teamed up, and they are not only talking about your pantry and clean foods and the containers and how to use them, but they also have awesome recipes that you can download and print out. We also just launched the 3-day yoga retreat, which is basically in 3 weeks you'll know how to do yoga. You start from like square one and takes you all the way through into the end, and it's just really basic for beginners. The 20s is on there, which is our little reality show, 20-minute reality show looking for the next Beachbody super trainer. So that's a lot of fun to watch. These 20-year-olds in this house vying for Beachbody contract. And then really cool stuff happens, like we get product sneak peeks. So like at the end of this month in September, Core de Force is launching in December. So at the end of September, we're going to get to have a sneak peek of one of the workouts. So if you subscribe to Beachbody on Demand, all the stuff is access to you. It's like $2.99 a week, and it's just so super worth it. And changes are daily on there. So I pretty much jump in there every single day to see what's going on, because they're adding stuff all of the time. So it's really, really awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at Team Beachbody's growth over the last several years. And, this is up to 2014. So this will just tell you how it's just kind of going up from here. So how do the products really measure up to what people need and want? Well, you can see that the programs and Team Beachbody customers are driving the revenue up every single year. And I think we can all agree that these numbers are pretty impressive. And there's no shortage of customers, and there's no shortage of solutions that we can offer to help people of any age or fitness level to achieve their goals. And the good news is that we have more and more coaches every single year joining our cause, which helps us support more and more customers. So the company is experiencing amazing sustainable growth. I mean, just look at where we started and where we are today. And this number is even up to, I believe it's 400 and something thousand today. So that's even another 100,000. I mean, it's just, the growth is just crazy. And we're still a really young company. So the incredible growth that's in our future, it actually just makes it a perfect time to become a coach, to be joining us. So, but what makes us unique? Well, I kind of already mentioned a few things that make Team Beachbody unique, but when you put them all together, it really shows how much this company really has to offer. So, there are a lot of companies out there that might be able to offer a weight loss solution through a nutrition program and a personal coach, but they don't offer a fitness program component. And people are then often left to try and figure out that part of the puzzle on their own. I was actually really successful with Jenny Craig after the birth of my first son, and then again after Riley. And even though the time, the cost at the time, the cost of food was expensive, that wasn't really what deterred me. It was frustrating that they couldn't nutritionally take me to the next level. I just actually had to end up leaving because there was nothing more that they could do for me after I had reached a certain goal. At the time, I was actually working out from home with P90X, and I was hungry all the time, and they really just had no help for me beyond the basics of what I was doing with them. And looking back at that now, I probably was starving. That's probably why I never got those results. I probably should have been eating like a horse, like protein like a horse, right? So many gyms offer then, a personal trainer or various group fitness classes, but then they lack the nutritional component and group accountability and support. So with Beachbody and through the network of coaches, we've actually got the complete solution to offer our customers: fitness, nutrition, peer support, and then reward for your success. I love that total fitness solution, health and fitness solution. I just love that. And then, if you know a Beachbody coach, chances are you've heard of Shakeology, which is our signature product. I am a super busy mom of 3, and so I'm up super early, and I often go to bed pretty late. So it's important for me to feel my best, and that's what Shakeology gives me: optimal health, so I can be my best every day for my family, friends, and my business. So I think that one of my favorite aspects about Shakeology, and the one that sold me from the beginning, is that there are just some days when I just can't or don't want to get in enough fruits and vegetable servings. So I know that when I drink Shakeology, that will give me some of what I'm missing. There honestly is, I have not come across any other products out there. You know, we try to compare some of them, and some come close and try, but there really isn't anything that can be compared to Shakeology. You know, it's not a protein shake. It's so much more than that. And it's so nutrient dense because it's made with so many superfoods, you know, that you should be eating, but you typically don't. You know, and the other thing is, it's, you know, it's not only increased my energy and improved my digestion, but it helped me to kick soda way back when I first started. It helps me to reduce sweet cravings. And as a side effect, when I first started drinking it and I combined it with my nutrition plan and then my workouts, it was what had helped me lose all of my weight. So all of that combination is pretty much what the secret sauce was for my success. And then what started off for me as one thing, as a means to health and nutrition and weight loss, has now turned into something completely different for me as my goals and needs have changed. So since I started to weight train, I now use Shakeology to fuel my body post-workout, or it's an additional meal for me. And I'll sometimes add an additional clean protein to it, because I need to make sure that I'm eating enough throughout the day to just sustain my energy levels because of my intense workouts, you know, sustain my muscles that I'm growing and building and being leaning out. But I think the really, really cool part about Shakeology is that it's only sold through our coach network. But Shakeology by itself isn't what makes Team Beachbody so unique. It's actually the fact that the company has a solution for everyone, regardless of age, gender, or fitness level. Our product catalog is pretty chock full of fitness programs designed to help beginners get started and help fitness fanatics like me take their workouts to the next level. We have products to help kickstart weight loss, support ongoing weight loss, and even all sorts of accessories that can complement our programs and help people get the best results. Speaking of results, now this is my favorite part. And this is what coaching is all about for me. So seeing the success stories and hearing from my coaches and my participants on how the programs and the groups have changed their lives, it really just reminds me and instills in me why I do what I do. And it makes me so proud to be a Team Beachbody coach. Our products and our systems are proven to work, and they change the lives of thousands of people every single day. There's the proof. There are all these pictures and stories, and you know, even some of them I'm looking at. We've met at Summit. We've seen them in person. These are real people. This isn't a Photoshop. I mean, this is real. What real hard work looks like and dedication. And so, is my job and your job as a coach is to help people get started with the program that meets their individual goals and needs, and then coach them through that process. And with the support of the challenge groups, they help them to get started and keep them motivated. And then that's how they see those results. And so it's also not just the customer successes, but I get to help create success stories with my friends and my teammates. Team Beachbody coaches are pretty amazing people. We are a community of people that have joined together and support each other in the mission to end the trend of obesity. But not only have I gained some valuable friendships, but I've gained the freedom to do what I truly love, and that's showing people that they can achieve anything they put their minds to and ultimately reach their goals and dreams. All right, so my favorite part, what is a coach? So you've heard me talk about how coach's job is to help people, but you're probably thinking, like, what does that really mean, right? So I often get asked if a coach has to be at their goal weight or peak physical shape or a certified trainer or nutritionist, and the answer is no. A coach does not need to be a fitness or nutrition expert. A coach does not already have to be and achieve their fitness and nutrition goals. You just have to be on your journey, and you don't have to be an experienced salesperson. What a coach does need to be is consistently is what a coach should definitely be, is passionate about what they do and dedicated to helping others. A coach needs to be consistently sharing with others how Team Beachbody can help change the lives of those they meet. And we do that through building relationships and connecting with people to find out what their goals are, their individual goals, so that we can determine which programs would be right for them. In addition to that, a coach needs to be committed to being proof that the products work by using the programs every day. And that includes drinking Shakeology and working out. And finally, coaches need to be committed to consistently improving and developing themselves. Personal development is pretty key in building confidence, setting goals, and helping you to stay focused on the activities that you need to complete to see your business grow. And I can be a testimony to that because this last year has been a huge change and shift for me when it comes to personal development. Finally able to find that balance that I have been seeking as far as fitness and mom and wife and business and all of those things. And personal development kind of helped me to get there. So it's very exciting to see the difference that has made in my life over the last couple of years. So what are the benefits of being a coach like? Well, for starters, you get to work your own hours, so that's pretty cool. Most coaches, when they start, they do already have a full-time job. So you might choose to spend a few hours working your Team Beachbody business on your lunch break or at night instead of watching TV. Or if you're an early riser like me, you can work your business before you start your day. The choice is yours. And then as your business grows and you can afford to spend more time focusing on it, you'll be able to start the transition from part-time Team Beachbody coach to full-time. That actually was what happened with me this year. The kids are all in school for the first time. It was just been surreal because I've been for so long waking up at the crack of dawn and working my business for a couple hours, and then they go to bed and I'm up at night. So I'm like burning the candle at both ends and getting time in where I can. And it's just been so weird to shift my focus to regular office hours during the daytime. I mean, I feel like I have a lot of time, but I'm still getting nothing done. But it's been a huge adjustment, but I'm loving every bit of it. So, and then you can also choose to work your business online or in person, or both. It's really kind of up to you. And the business is so flexible, it will absolutely work for anybody. So you've got, down here, you've got your discount coach, your hobby coach, your business builder. And, the category that I fall into is business builder. And I'm determined to, replace my husband's income next year and bring him home. I'm already at the point where I'm making the same amount as him. So we're bringing in, 2 incomes, which is great, but hopefully by next year, you'll be able to replace that and bring him home. We go on some pretty amazing trips. I've been to Cancun. I'm not a big fan of cruises. I did earn the SS Beachbody cruise, but I just did not go that year. It actually was the same weekend I was competing, so that was a conflict too. But then we traveled to Summit. I've been to Vegas a few times, Nashville twice now, and next year Summit is in New Orleans. So that's where we're going to be next year. So that is really exciting. Rewards. It was so cool to walk across the stage this last year at Summit, being my first year as a 1-star. They recognized me on the field, and I was able to get down there with my little flag and everything. That was a lot of fun. So the more you commit to working your business every day, the more your business grows and the more rewards you can earn. Team Beachbody's compensation plan is so well-rounded. You have the opportunity to receive commissions for selling products to customers, bonuses for helping your team grow, as well as qualify for free trips like Disney World and cruises and that sort of stuff that I mentioned. And actually, I should also say that we have a trip scheduled to Punta Cana in April of 2017, and I have already earned that trip halfway through the year. So kind of exciting to know that we were already going in April to Punta Cana with everybody. And it's all inclusive. So, we just really have to worry about our flights there, and everything else is paid for. So that is really, really cool. There's also monthly incentive rewards, weekly recognition, and daily opportunities to learn and engage in personal development. So, there's not a lot of jobs that you can say that give rewards on a regular basis. I think more and more, businesses are trying to do that, but Beachbody's fourth biggest behavior that we, I'm losing my words. We have 4 major behaviors that we do on a daily basis, and one of them is recognition. So whether it's for your challengers or for your coaches or for each other, and the company, for us, there's a big push on recognition, and it's just an amazing feeling. And then to help you earn those rewards, Team Beachbody, they would just have outstanding support. So as a new coach, there's no guesswork on how to get started. And if you join our team, Team Inspire, myself or your coach will work with you every step of the way to make sure that you get started off on the right foot. In addition to that, our team hosts a new coach mentorship training at the beginning of every single month. We also have a simple business quick start guide that gets you through exactly what you need to do your very first week in the business. After that, you have the opportunity to get ongoing daily training and activities to grow your business. And then Team Beachbody also keeps you up to date on news, announcements. We have communications like our weekly Monday National Wake Up Call, our monthly e-newsletter, the Coach Monthly, and then the online office breaking coach news feed. Plus, it's fun to follow Team Beachbody on social media for instant updates, and you can always share that stuff in order to grow your business. All right, the fun part. So how do you earn income? So as a coach, you get 25% commission on all the products that you sell. So let's just say, for example, in 1 week, someone can purchase P90X for $119.85. This would give you a 25% commission of $29.96. And then if another customer orders Shakeology at $129.95, giving you a 25% commission of $32.49. This means you make $62.45 for just selling those 2 products. And then in addition to that, you have the ability to make residual income. So residual income is also called passive or reoccurring income. It's income that continues to be generated after the initial effort has been expended. So for example, if your customer orders Shakeology on auto ship, or Beachbody on demand, or another product like from our performance line, and then they continue to consume it each month, as long as they remain a customer on Home Direct, you will continue to get that residual income month after month after month. So you can actually see how this might turn into a compounding effect, right? But by far the best part about this business is working together as a team. And that's why team cycle bonuses work so well. So as you sponsor coaches and then they sponsor coaches, and your sponsor coach sponsors more coaches, you benefit from the volume that brings in, which actually makes it a true team effort. And I always tell everyone that everyone has equal opportunity when they start. So it's not a pyramid. It's set up to look like that on a piece of paper, but we start at an equal playing field, and you actually have the same abilities to make the same money as me or more. Sorry about that. And so we all on a level playing field, and you don't make money until you're adding to your team and you're doing it together. So it's not like I'm getting kickbacks because you're doing this, that, and the other thing. We're all equal. We all have our own individual business center, if you will. So it's all equal. Let's see. So what do we expect from our teams? Well, so our team, Team Inspire, we have an exclusive Facebook page. And as I mentioned, we have a new coach training every single month. So at the first week of the month starts the typical is a new coach training. So that one will start the first week in October, will be the next one. We have also, so my coach is down on the right side there. That's Heather. And we have access to her trainings as well. So she actually has a full training website. Team Dynamite is her team. And so we have access to that because we're a part of her team. She's our upline. We also have rank advancement trainings that happen ongoing. I mean, there's really always some sort of training, and there's always the next place for you to go so that you can continue to advance and grow your business. There's always something more for you to learn. And, in the beginning, there's a lot of information, right? And it can be overwhelming when you first start just because there's a ton of information. But I always tell my new coaches that it's not a race and you need to learn at your own pace. You're never going to know everything. That's just not the way it's going to work. I still don't know everything. You're going to learn by doing. You're going to learn by just going forward, right? So there's always going to be a place for you to be and go and to grow yourself. We have leadership training. And then, of course, we have the team challenges that you might already belong to that you can also plug your customers into. I host one every month, 1 to 2 every month. And so what I typically tell my new coaches is just worry about inviting your challengers to my existing groups, and I'll take care of the rest. So you can just plug your customers right in. They can, have this amazing experience for their next 60-day challenge. And all you need to do is just make sure that they're doing good and they're okay. And then, of course, recognition and accountability. We do a lot of that. And so, the best thing about being a coach is being accountable for your health and fitness too. And I feel like that is just something that helps me to keep going, for sure. All right, so the big question, how do I join? So the best way to join as a coach, and my favorite way, because it's the best value, is to purchase a challenge pack. A challenge pack includes at least one fitness program, Shakeology on Home Direct, and a free month of the Team Beachbody Club subscription, which includes BOD. So by purchasing the challenge pack, you're saving between $50 and $80. Your $39.95 coach enrollment fee is waived, which is, and it just gives you this nice discount package. And so you have everything you need, to get started and start to be the proof of the products working, right? If you already have a fitness program, you can join by just purchasing Shakeology and then paying the coach enrollment fee. Or if you're already on Shakeology, you can just choose a fitness program, pay the coach fee. The best thing to do is just really to just discuss what works best for you with the coach that invited you to this call. So, and then in addition to your initial investment and your ongoing monthly Shakeology, there's a $15.95 ongoing monthly business service fee. And so this fee actually helps pay for the millions spent on media, your personal team Beachbody websites, which are like your online stores, your coach online office, warehousing products. So you don't have to take on any inventory, customer service, technical support, marketing, communications, training tools, and daily personal development is all available to you to help you grow your business. It's actually pretty incredible when you think about it, to be able to get this kind of support for such a small fee. So what's next? All right. Well, in the next 24 hours, you can expect the coach who invited you to this presentation to follow up with you and ask what you liked most about it. What was your favorite part? Does the Team Beachbody feel like it's a good fit for you? Would this be something that could help you achieve your goals? Which option appeals to you more, coach or customer? And then let's just, before I end, sorry about all the notifications, I should shut the thing off. Before we end, I just want, you guys to think about what can becoming a coach do for you? Like what could this mean for you and your family? I talk about my why all the time and where it started for me and where things are at this point. Who would you be able to help in your life if you were a coach? Who do you know that could benefit from our total health and fitness solution? What are your goals and dreams? Have you always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom or a dad? Do you want to fire your boss or, retire your husband from his job? Have you had thoughts about traveling or sending your kids to a private school? Or maybe just the freedom to do what you want on your own time, on your own schedule with the people closest to you in your life? It's important. I think that's kind of what started me on my trajectory is I had for so long done what was expected of me and I didn't really think about what I wanted. I just was doing what I thought I was supposed to. And it wasn't until after I had my own family that I'd started to think, what are we having these kids for if I'm never home? And what's the point of all of this? Where is this taking us? And we're going to work until we're for 40 years and then have what to show for it and be tired and burnt out and maybe have a savings. So I want to give you kind of an example of what is possible with coaching. So this is my coach, Heather, as I mentioned. And then this is outdated. Oh, so I wrote 2015 down there. So Heather was an accountant before she became a coach. She was a CPA, and she actually found herself in a position with her company that forced her to leave to find a new job. But instead of going back to the daily grind of 9 to 5 or longer, she decided to make coaching her full-time job. And so you can see by this example how much her income has grown since she's began coaching. Now, Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income from the Team Beachbody coach opportunity. Each coach's income certainly depends on his or her own efforts, diligence, and skill. And I will tell you that coaching can sometimes be a roller coaster ride. But if you can keep your focus on your why in the headlights, you will absolutely be able to overcome anything that comes up. Mine's not as exciting yet as Heather's is, but I will tell you that, in my first year as a coach, I was at, 6,000. The second year, I jumped up to 20,000 a year, and then my third year, this last 2015, a week's paycheck pays for more than 2 weeks of groceries. A week's paycheck pays for my car payment, electric bill, internet as a week's paycheck, and then a month's paycheck is our mortgage. So that's pretty cool that I am bringing in enough money that I'm working only a few hours a day, and then I'm bringing in that sort of money. And 2016, I'm matching my husband's 40+ hour a week income in just a couple of hours a day. So I'm pretty excited to see what this year holds for me, because I have a lot of extra time on my hands. Well, not extra time on my hands, but I'm going to be able to dive in more focused and have more time during the day to do this. So I'm kind of excited about that. And the trials that we face as coaches are honestly nothing compared to the triumphs. It's not an overnight process to change your diet and exercise habits, right? So just like that, coaching is not an overnight success story all the time either. You have to put in the work, you have to have patience. And, the reality is, just like with your health and fitness, if you decide to commit to it, you will see that success. So, you need to ask yourself what you want. What do you want out of your life? Where are you going? What are you doing now that's going to get you there, right? People often think about being an entrepreneur or owning their own business, just as I did. But what I really didn't consider first was the type of lifestyle that I wanted to live as a business owner. And I think this is such an important first step in considering your future. So you have the advantage now that I never got. What is it that you want out of life? And I really want to end things tonight with my favorite quote, and one that sort of catapulted the whole change for me personally. You only get something different by doing something different. And that's huge. And I kind of live by that motto in all facets of my life, health and fitness, in my business. And, when things aren't working for you or things aren't going the way that you'd like, you need to shift gears and think about it a different way, a better way to go about getting what you want out of this life. So that's it. That's all I had tonight. I did want to thank you guys for being here, and excited that you could join us. Let's get back to my face, maybe somewhere. Stop share. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions or you need more clarifications on anything else that I talked about tonight, I'd love to hear from you. You can send me an email. You can send me an inbox on my business page. And that's it. Have a great night, guys. Talk to you soon.